Hi, Alan Schimmel here at DevOps.com. We're here at Jenkins World, day one, Wednesday, the 14th. And I'm here with Jeff Scheaffer, who leads the CD business unit at CA. Correct?
Alan, thank you. Yes, glad to be here.
Thank you. So, Jeff, before we get into the DevOps Express thing, which I wanted to talk to you about, I wanted to talk a little bit about, educate our audience, the CD business at CA. Give us a little, if you can, just an overview.
Okay, Alan, thanks. Happy to do so. So with CA Technologies, we actually are really focused on the market transformation around agile DevOps and continuous delivery. We have a broad range of product lines that are focused on agile management and helping development teams get to velocity. They, of course, then turn towards how do I accelerate my development, my testing, my release, and then my operational practices under DevOps, and then specifically the tool chain that supports those practices in organizations. And that's my responsibility as I lead the continuous delivery business unit, and we're really focused on everything around the continuous integration, testing, and delivery tool chains.
Fantastic. And you know, Jeff, a lot of people say, oh, CA, big company, but having dealt with CA, it's actually a big company made up of a lot of different smaller units,
yes,
including CD. And you know, some of the solutions they're not what you would think of when you think of CA, the big mainframe company, right? They're really kind of cutting edge stuff.
Absolutely, Alan. We have, for example, the Agile Central software that was developed and pioneered by Rally Software.
Sure.
We're doing API management that was initially pioneered by Layer 7. We are working on the continuous integration and testing products, which were done by ITKO, and how do we help dev teams, you know, not only produce the code more quickly, but then how do we get the testing and the delivery and release through various acquisitions. We also do a lot of internal development. So we have a very large engineering investment that we make in software development that's approaching over a $600 million annual investment. And it's kind of one of the most interesting things about our business is, in this one respect, it's a blessing when you can actually be your own customer. So we have these large software dev teams, and we're all adopting the entire Agile DevOps CI/CD practice internally. And it's an amazing experience.
It's funny you brought that up. Actually, at CA World last year, I met with Mike Grigori, our CEO. Yes. And I met with several of the other leaders, and it was interesting to hear CA's own DevOps transformation. Yes. What I call it, eating your own dog food or whatever, but you know, you can't know it unless you've almost done it yourself a little bit, right? And that's helped a lot, I think, and kind of give you that, what is the customer feeling about it?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, just within my own business unit, which is focused on developing testing and release automation tools, we had a project. It's kind of an interesting project where when we started the transformation, we would release the software once per year. And now we're releasing every single month. So we're doing daily builds. We actually went from daily builds to building up about 15 times a day. We do change code detection at, you know, almost instantaneously or with the build cycles. We cut the time it takes to provision the test environments by 60%, and we can provision our test environments and complete our testing within a single hour within a sprint. It's an amazing experience what we're achieving, and then we're able to bring those practices and bring the tool chain that we use, that we internally develop, and then make that available to other companies as well.
Good stuff. So, Jeff, let me pivot a little bit, though. And so the big announcement here in the Jenkins World was around DevOps Express. And 14 companies initially launching. CA's one of them. But CA isn't just one of them. CA represented, for me anyway, sort of the big company, not the grown-up in the space, but a large company, right? Publicly held company. And first of all, if you could tell our audience a little bit, why did CA feel compelled to join in with this DevOps Express initiative?
So, Alan, for us, the importance of DevOps Express is absolutely critical that these consortiums, these organizations start to form and facilitate not only how do we implement the workflows and the integrations of the tool chains that support it, but it's really in service to what the customer needs. So we look at digital transformation and the application economy as essential. The essence of that is companies express brands and products and services through their web or their mobile apps, and their competitiveness, their long-term competitiveness and the way they serve their end consumers depends on how well they get their applications into production. It's time to market, it's the innovation, it's the quality. and by the way, dramatically lower the cost. We've done some studies. We find that the companies spend about $60 billion a year testing and delivering custom applications into production, and 58 billion of that is in labor, services, test environments, very small portion in tools, and so really what the DevOps Express objective is how do we bring that tool chain together, make sure that it works in order to help meet that goal that the customers have, which is software to production faster, higher quality, and at dramatically lower cost, and that's the focus, and it's an imperative for companies to be successful.
Agreed. Now, we were at a media event for DevOps Express earlier, and there were some skeptics in the media who brought up, oh, we've seen this kind of announcement before. How deep does the commitment at CA run into this new initiative?
Yeah, so Alan, I think the skepticism kind of occurred in a couple of spaces. Like one was, what was the real objective of the consortium? Is it a commercial interest or it is a consumer interest? That was kind of one set of questions. And I think generally, working with all of the various members, it starts with the consumer interest at heart, right? So there's a big difference between concepts like frameworks or conceptualizations like DevOps and real-world implementations. And this group is coming together to provide some prescription to help companies. Where do I get started? How do I make progress? And being able to do that in the most cost-effective way, either through the coaching and the transformational coaching, through the integration of the building blocks of the tool chain. And so the real focus is really enabling those customers to be successful. The second kind of the question is, what is, how 14 inaugural members did we have to pay to play?
Right.
That was the next kind of question. And the answer is no, nobody paid for this. Everyone's joining this because we have a firm belief in the need to go to this DevOps Express and the need to drive these prescriptions and to provide the integrations to the portfolio. So I think that was kind of a key point that needed to be made. And then in terms of what are the companies investing in, really most of what we're all looking at is how do we take all that information, how do we accelerate our the end consumers of these tool chains so that they can do it more quickly through out-of-the-box integrations, through the prescriptions and the flexibility. But really, we find that there's other values that we get out of being part of this DevOps Express. One is that we're able to work together. When there's issues that are impeding success about getting software to market more quickly and keeping it up and operational, I can reach up and I can call other members of the Express and that we come together. Whether we're collaborators or whether we're in some areas competing, it's like the connections that are being created in the community themselves will facilitate all the end consumers.
Absolutely.
So we're committed to it. That's one of the key things. We're investing behind it. We're investing behind the integrations. We're investing behind open sourcing some of the integration kits.
That's the next thing I want to actually talk to you
about. To make sure that nobody's ever, everyone has options.
Out on the limb. And that really is, because to me about DevOps Express, it's about giving the consumers, and we don't mean, it's business consumers, but giving the customers of these DevOps solutions options. Interesting, you used the open source term and you used it in the media briefing earlier. A lot of people don't think of CA and open source in the same breath, but you do. I mean, CA is and has been, and maybe it's a result of some of the acquisitions, I don't know, but they've been more and more, as Microsoft has, as many companies have, embracing open source.
Yeah, absolutely.
Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Sure. For me, there's a couple of drivers around open source. One driver is simply that no company can possibly, through a closed source model, keep up with the rate of innovation in the industry, the plethora of new technologies that are coming out. And so if you want to serve your end consumers well, business consumers, but the end consumers well, and to solve their problems, they have to have the ability to integrate ecosystems. We need to be able to rapidly adapt the the building blocks to whatever the new technology platforms that are coming to the market, the new languages. And the best way to do that is to have an open community, an open sourced community where not only are we contributing and providing governance of those communities in some respects, but it being able to harness the broader technology industry in order to move everything forward for everybody. They're absolutely in session. Yeah.
I agree with you, but I applaud CA for being more involved in coming to that recognition, because I think it's a little bit nuanced, but it also is the reality of today's market. Anyway, Jeff, we've probably gone on longer than we were supposed to, but it was a pleasure having you on here. Maybe we'll have you on again.
Excellent.
Jeff Scheaffer, CD Business Unit at CA. And this is Alan Schimmel for DevOps.com.